Hey y'all, today we're going to talk about gray-blue paint colors or blue-gray paint colors depending on how you look at it and how your lighting affects the paint color. I have 5 neutrals for you and 6 non-neutral colors that I think work beautifully for most spaces. I know there are so many options when it comes to paint colors, and a lot of times the overwhelming amount of options kind of just overwhelms a lot of people, and so they give up. So I want you to use this list of paint colors as kind of your jumping off point. See which ones you like the best, test those out in your home, and then go from there so you don't get overwhelmed and frustrated. Hi, I'm Ashley from HomeLikeYouMeanIt.com. I'm a true color expert and decorator, and today is all about gray-blue or blue-gray paint colors. Okay, so let's get right into it. Okay, now we are gonna kick things off with the neutral paint colors on our list. So these next 5, if you want something for more of an open concept and you want more of a neutral vibe, these are perfect suggestions for you. And these are the paint colors that I tend to recommend over and over again because they just work in a lot of spaces. So the first one we've got is Benjamin Moore Bunny Gray. And guys, I have a white poster board. I know it's a little bit hard to see because this is a pretty pale paint color. I will put the little doll up on the screen so you can kind of get a better idea, but I do have a white poster board behind me. And just a quick note, this is how you want to test out your paint colors, especially neutral colors on the wall. You want a pure white backdrop. So if that's a poster board or computer paper, make sure you leave, you know, a little bit more than I have, at least an inch on each side so that you can see the paint color for what it is. Don't ever put paint colors directly on that you're testing directly onto the wall because it will be impossible to tell what the paint color looks like. So this is Benjamin Moore Bunny Gray. Like I said, it's a pretty pale paint color. The LRV is 68, just to kind of give you a frame of reference. 100 is pure white. 0 is pure black. A lot of the off-whites that people are loving lately, they have LRVs in the 80 to 87 range. So considerably speaking, this is a pretty pale paint color. So people tend to gravitate towards those for open living spaces. Now I will say, Bunny Gray, it's beautiful and I love it. I absolutely love it in powder rooms, especially with marble. I tend to recommend this over and over again because that really soft blue just pulls out those blue marble veins and it's absolutely gorgeous. But if you paint this on your walls, it's just going to read overwhelmingly blue. And some people love that. It works beautifully, like I said, for a powder room or a baby's room, even a bedroom. If you're kind of decorating with a lot of blue and you kind of want that coastal look, it looks beautiful. A lot of people have told me before they have painted this in open concept spaces and it's just been too blue for them. So know that when you go with Bunny Gray, you need to be comfortable with it reading blue on your walls. The next color that I have for you is one of my personal favorites of all time. I am always recommending it. It's Benjamin Moore Wickham Gray. It has an LRV of 67, so it's just a hair darker from Bunny Gray. Now the really cool thing about Wickham Gray is that it's got a gray undertone, or it's a gray paint color with a blue undertone, but it also has a green undertone, which I love because if you want a gray blue, but you want something a little bit softer, once you throw that green undertone into it, it just works to soften up the entire paint color and it is so beautiful. I love it for entryways. I've recommended it a ton for entryways where people want something light and fresh and airy. I think it works perfectly for master bedrooms. I think it works beautifully for powder rooms or bathrooms. In open concept spaces, you do need to make sure that you're decorating with a lot of blues and greens because again, your walls are going to read more blue and green, less gray. You're going to see a little bit of gray, but you're really overwhelmingly going to see blue and green, especially if you have a lot of natural light come in. So it's a beautiful choice. It's Benjamin Moore Wickham Gray. Gray Owl by Benjamin Moore is next on our list. This is an LRV of 64, so it's a little bit darker than the first 2 colors that I showed you. Gray Owl is overwhelmingly a pretty popular paint color. It's been this way for at least a decade and people are still requesting this paint color and they like it. It works really well in open concept spaces. Now it's a gray blue, but the blue in it is considerably less. So if you want a more neutral color and you don't want too much blue showing through, Gray Owl is a perfect one. And a lot of people use this in their living room or their kitchen when they're decorating with some blues. Sherwin Williams Krypton is next. You may have seen this color online before. It is a gorgeous color. It's got an LRV of 52. It reads overwhelmingly blue. So it's got just a dash of gray in it to kind of soften it and mute it. But please know when you pick this color, it's gonna read more blue than gray. Now, I think that's a gorgeous combination. I've seen this used before on kitchen islands, cabinetry, in powder rooms, bedrooms, even offices. This is a great, great color, and it's more saturated. It's not nearly as light as those first few colors that I showed you, so it's a great accent color as well. Okay, so the darkest neutral on this list is Benjamin Moore Coventry Gray. It's got an LRV of 48. Now, most people aren't painting this in their open concept living. A lot of people are using this on shutters when paired with more of a creamy white house on their exterior. It's absolutely gorgeous. They're also using it in built-ins or cabinetry, stuff like that. So it's more of an accent color. Again, this is not a color that you would saturate all of your walls with because it's just a little bit too dark, especially for all of the fresh neutral colors that people are gravitating towards now. But it is gorgeous when paired with a creamy white in terms of accent colors, either on the exterior of your house or in little splashes like cabinetry and stuff like that. But this is a color that I tend to recommend a lot, and people really love it when they use it in small doses. So now we're gonna move on to the non-neutral paint colors. The first one I've got on this list is Sherwin Williams. It is Tradewind. Now this has an LRV of 61. So again, it's lighter like some of those first neutral colors that I showed you, but it's pretty pigmented. So you don't really see too much of the gray, and there's actually just a hint of green. People love this color, especially when they're decorating with a lot of blues. If you want more of a coastal vibe, which a lot of people love, this is a really pretty paint color. People love this in bathrooms, especially when you're pairing it with more of that cooler toned tile or marble. Can't say enough great things about this color, especially with the green. I love blues that have a little bit of green, and especially gray. Blue-green grays are probably one of my favorite paint color combinations, and Tradewind is one of them. Benjamin Moore Boothbay Gray is next. This is a gorgeous, I mean, I love all the colors on this list, but Boothbay Gray is really, really pretty. Now, it's not as pretty and not a lot of natural light, so make sure you have a good bit of natural light to really see that gorgeous blue undertone. I tend to think it reads fairly gray, but it's got just this absolutely stunning blue undertone that really, really shines, especially in a lot of natural light. It has an LRV of 43, so it is a little bit darker. Again, this is not a color that people are just absolutely drenching their walls, especially their open concept living. Now, I have seen this in offices, I've seen it in dining rooms, powder rooms, bedrooms, and it looks glorious. But typically people aren't putting this just, you know, all throughout their downstairs, but in small doses, Boothbay Gray is absolutely stunning. Sherwin Williams Stardew is next. This color holds a special place in my heart because we just painted some cabinetry Stardew. I think it is absolutely stunning. It reads a little bit more blue than gray. We have it in our front entryway that is directly opposite of two front doors with a lot of natural light coming in, so you really can just see the gray just a little bit. It just works to kind of soften and tone down the blue, but it is absolutely stunning. It's not overwhelming, overpowering. It's just a really pretty medium toned blue gray. Benjamin Moore Van Courtland Blue is next. It really reminds me of this just muted robin's egg blue color. It is, again, you know, they're all stunning. This is a really, really pretty color. It's got an LRV of 31. Let me check on that. Yes, 31. I don't want to tell you the wrong thing. 31. So it is darker. Again, you need to make sure you have a good bit of natural light, especially if you want that robin egg blue color to kind of pop out. Make sure you have a good bit of natural light when you use this color. Now, it's got that green undertone. So it's a gray, blue, green, which again, I love that category of paint colors. And it will change on you during the day and, you know, as your light kind of fades and comes in. So make sure you're okay with what it looks like, you know, throughout the day, which is why it's so, you know, such a good idea to test out the paint color in your room in your natural light. Now, it's great to get inspiration from online photos, but you will not be able to replicate that light in your home, so make sure you test it out in your home. But this is Van Courtland Blue. Sherwin Williams Debonair is another color that I recommend all the time. It has an LRV of 34. Again, it's darker, but it's not super dark. You know, it's not like a navy blue, but it's getting, you know, down there. This is just, if you liked Van Courtland Blue, but you didn't like the green in it, Debonair is really similar in terms of color depth and the way the color is projected on the walls. This is a gorgeous color. If you're looking for more of a medium to dark blue-gray, you absolutely have to test this. Benjamin Moore Dusty Cornflower is going to wrap up our list. If you want a gray-blue, but you want something that reads significantly more blue than gray, Dusty Cornflower is perfect, and it doesn't have any green undertones if that's not something that you want. It's got an LRV of 34. It's just really stunning. Again, it's gonna look gorgeous when paired with cooler toned tile or stone. I use this a lot in powder rooms. I use it a lot in bedrooms, especially babies' rooms. You cannot go wrong with this color. So I hope you have found a color for you. Again, you want to test these out in your room, in your light, with a white poster board or something pure white as a backdrop so that you can see the color for what it is. I have even more blue grays in a blog post that I wrote a couple years ago, and I will link that below. And as always, if you have questions, please feel free to ask me below. I love talking about paint. I could talk about paint colors all day. Thanks for watching.